Hi, this is Radhika Apte and you are watching BollywoodHungama.com.
We have with us an actress who has created a huge impact this year. She has been seen in movies earlier as well, but this year has been phenomenal. Both in Badlapur as well as Hunterrr, Radhika Apte has just swept the hearts and minds of all the people out there. So huge pleasure to have you on Bollywood Hungama first of all.
Thank you so much.
We've interacted like ghaibana taur pe on Twitter somehow, because I've quoted you a few times here and there because I love your performances.
Oh, thank you.
But how does it feel that people are just reacting to your performances? Badlapur, it was a small role, but
Yes.
people loved it like anything.
Yeah, I think Badlapur was a really good surprise actually, because I did not even do much of publicity initially. So
Right.
I was quite, I didn't expect so much to come my way.
Right.
And then suddenly after watching the film, lots of phone calls started coming and people
Right.
really appreciated the part. And it was a little overwhelming, I think, when all the reactions came. But yeah, all good.
Okay. Do you think from this perspective that you are extremely young,
Yeah.
but you're playing Vinay Pathak's wife, and somewhere people have people
Yeah,
have
yeah.
that judgmental factor somehow.
I actually never felt that.
You never felt
Maybe because Vinay is such a dear friend for a long time that he always feels like a very young, buddy, and
Right.
so probably just
that's a
didn't try
good way of
to-
saying it.
No, but actually, also, you know what? It's an ensemble film. It's not that formula films. One of those formula films where you have to be then scared of, oh, who are you paired opposite? And that's also like if you start thinking on those lines. But on another note, personally, I never think of these things. I just don't. I mean, I think one should be able to play all kinds of parts, and who are you paired opposite has just to do with how good the actor is. In the sense, Vinay is an exceptionally good actor, and I think that's all I look at.
Now this entire Hunter, the sort of response that you're getting, I think the dialogues are phenomenal.
Yeah.
Kulkarni, the writer director, I think he has done a phenomenal job.
Yeah.
Now as I told you beforehand, what does that 3 o'clock mean actually? I'm still not.
So you have to imagine a clock.
I've been trying to, but I'm not able to understand.
So okay, so if you imagine a clock, so you are my 12 o'clock.
Okay, in terms of like arrow.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm in the middle of the clock, right? So you're my 12 o'clock. This is my 3 o'clock. That's my 6 o'clock, and that's my 9 o'clock.
Right.
So if I say that there's a girl sitting at 11 o'clock, that's there.
Acha, like that, it's basically pointing.
Yeah. So if I just say that 11 o'clock,
Yeah.
11 o'clock. So it's like my 11 o'clock.
Acha, like that. Okay.
But then you can't just go, oh, where? You can't go that. You go like, oh, is it? And then you just like do this, and then you do.
And the way your reaction has been appreciated a lot. That the way you say. I think in the promos as well as the movie as well. Now, a lot is being said about the radical approach the movie has taken, and when you're saying that wow, you're open to open marriage and all that. So basically, you're not saying it, but it's basically perceived and
Right.
all those perception which is there. How do you react to it? That people have reacted to this movie in a very positive manner and progressive manner.
I just had a discussion with somebody actually 2 days ago, when somebody was saying that why does she have to be like that? Like, why does she have to have had an abortion, or like all this different opinions that she has, and why couldn't it be? Is it just to counter sort of balance his past sort of a thing? So I said that why do you say that? Because, and similarly with open marriages, because if you actually want a real character, then most of the people in Bombay have had at least one quite a bad relationship in the past. Everybody, or a man would have had a bad relationship with a woman, or a man, or a whatever. But I'm trying to say that that's more real than having this person who's just like so pretty and wears amazing clothes and dances around, and like it's so unreal. Even if in the film he initially begins to be this misogynistic person, the film's approach is not that. The film's approach is very, very real and very practical. It's a story of this guy who sort of did look at women only from that point of view, and then how he sort of reaches this place where he gets stagnated, and then he sort of changes. Point of view, the film is not like that, and which is why I think that's the USP, because that's where people can actually relate to characters. They're so real and they're so
Absolutely.
simple.
When you're saying that मैं बिल्कुल भी सती सावित्री नहीं हूँ, somewhere you're breaking a stereotype as well, because the women generally in Hindi movies, either they are vamps or they are like virginal actually, and they've never been touched in their lives.
Yeah.
So now a girl accepting it on camera and saying it that "Main bilkul bhi Sati Savitri nahi hu." Now that's a radical move as well somewhere. Do you think that India is ready for these things? Ideally, it should be.
I think they are. Yeah, come on. I think we are. We all are. I think the audience is absolutely ready. We need to actually break more of these barriers and sort of give away more and be more real and be more experimental. And it's been like, come on, this whole image of a woman who's very, very feminine, and the more feminine and beautiful she is, she's a lovely, good woman, and the more of a sort of men's characteristics that she has, like, you know what I'm saying, a man, whatever the man does, she has, and she becomes this bad woman. Now come on, like decades, yeah, come on, let's move ahead. I think it's been.
You've tweeted about that My Choice video of Deepika recently, that great stuff.
Yes.
Now, somehow people have just taken a few things in isolation out of that, having sex out of within marriage and having sex. I think somewhere people have taken to that one aspect and just castigating and just judging like anything. So somewhere in a way your character in Hunter is somewhat about choices of a woman as well.
Yes.
So how do you react to such double standards, and when people just take things out of context and just go on?
I think people react the way they want to, so it's fine, they have the choice to react. So I don't know what to say about their reaction, but I personally tweeted that video because I liked that video. I also like the other video that
Man Choice.
I love that. It's so funny about this engineer, and it was really funny. Right. And I think that also made a very good point, which said that women and men. And I'm all for equality. I'm not this extreme feminist at all. I think that video of Deepika's video, don't take one thing out, yeah. I mean, this is what I would like to say. Because I think the way the men have said that the moment a man goes out, a woman starts beating and saying that, you know, bahar kyun kar rahe ho, kya kar rahe ho, mujhe barbaad kar diya. The same thing. I completely get that sense of humor. I think it's very funny. But I feel the fact that a woman has a choice is a very alien concept. In cities at least it's okay, but you know, I was just talking to a friend of mine who works in an NGO, and she works in she is from Pune, and she works in a lot of other areas, and I was just talking to her about this. She said, forget that. She said, to love is also not considered a choice. You know, in most of the places in India, you can't have a love marriage. You can't even love. You can't even express that, oh, I'm in love with somebody, so can I decide to be married to him? So that's the choice of that a woman doesn't have. So what I'm trying to say is that so see the context. In that sense, I think even
you don't agree with it in entirety.
No, I don't. No, but I think that if you choose to marry, choose to have sex outside of your marriage, yes, it is your choice. It is a choice that a woman has and a man has. We know so many marriages and extramarital affairs, and this is just a fact. I mean, whether I believe it or not is another story.
People just don't want to accept it, basically.
Yeah,
they would like to believe that once you're married and till the time you die,
you're going to be with this other guy.
You will be faithful.
Exactly. That doesn't happen in many cases. It happens in many cases also. But the point is, if a man has the right to break a marriage or to sleep with other women, so does a woman. And it's just an equal right. That's all it is about, I think.
Your first childhood crush, the name of the guy was Mandar?
Oh my god, yeah. Why did I say that? Yeah, it was actually.
That's also like.
That's so true. It is true.
Yeah.
I was in this university, Pune University School, and I was second standard is what? 7 years. So I was 7 and 8 when I was still 8 years old. I was in that school, and there's this guy called Mandar, and I had a huge crush on him. And once I was walking home, and I saw this building next to our house, and that building was called Mandar, and I was like, oh my god, this is like a sign. So yeah, it was my first crush.
You said that we are living at a time when women are not expected to be Sati Savitris. My character in Hunter had a relationship and an abortion. This is a relatable person. I don't know any friend of mine who hasn't had sex before marriage. I don't care what the language of the cinema is, as long as it has a connect with real life. Now, that is something that we discussed as well somewhere, but there is one aspect about when we're talking about Deepika's video and what your character has, that you admit that you've had a affair, you've had an abortion and all that, more than one affair. That way, so somewhere when you come to know that the guy is a philanderer as well, does it make it more easy to accept it, or do you think that the guilt factor continues if?
It's a very subjective thing. Like for example, somebody was asking me about same Trupti's character, and I said that listen, it's not me, it's Trupti. If I were in that place, I wouldn't go for arranged marriage in the first place. So what I'm saying is, I'm a very different person. That's a character that I'm playing. I think for that character, I think a lot of women that I have made. So basically, when you portray a character, what you do is you take from your experiences, from the people that I've met in the past, who sort of have come from this very middle class mentality. So their upbringing has been pretty traditional, and then you move out, and then you are exposed to this other world, and your viewpoint starts changing. You start thinking differently. So I think you get stuck in the middle somewhere. And then when you reach this stage where you want to get into an arranged marriage, it's not the first choice that a city girl wants to get into an arranged marriage. Usually people want to meet people, not on websites. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So that's a compromise. In most cases, again, I'm not generalizing, but in most cases it's a compromise. And I think in Trupti's case also it's a compromise. So to meet a man who's like this, he's so honest with her. And he very, very honestly tells her everything that has happened, and actually she obviously knows that this could actually jeopardize the marriage in the first place, and it would just not take place. But the fact that he is so honest, I think touches her somewhere.
HIV test करवा लेना बस.
HIV test करना है. Oh, I think that's a must, isn't it now?
You've also said that I have done a nude scene for an English film.
Yes.
In fact, I wrote an article about how strongly I felt on the subject of nudity. At the same time, I wouldn't allow my personal space to be violated by any intrusive attention. Some time ago, someone had posted a nude selfie on the internet claiming it was me. The girl didn't even look like me, and the controversy died a natural death. Now, taking the context of this somewhere, you have this scene in Badlapur where Varun Dhawan forcibly just asks you to just take off the clothes, and then he makes all those sounds and everything. Now, somewhere you are extremely comfortable with your body and the way you just react to it. So how important is it for an actor to just be comfortable with herself?
Very. I think it's a very crucial thing, and I always thought that I was very comfortable with my body. I mean, I've had my share of, oh God, I wish I had this and I wish I had that in my body, if I could change this and that while I was growing up. So I've had that, and then I think the more I started doing theatre, the more I started watching more cinema from outside of India, from within India, I think sort of it changed. And then I was really fortunate to meet some people, like the nude scene that I've done in actually 2 films, 2 international films I did nude scenes in. And the people that I'll tell you later, because
पत्ते बहुत सी चीजों के बारे में वो बिल्कुल नहीं खोलना चाहिए राधिका आपते, which is interesting actually.
पता चलेगा आपको ज़्यादा, मतलब बहुत जल्द पता चलेगा. But 2 really crucial films, and they were such amazing people. It really taught me to be more and more liberal actually. I cannot tell you what a relief it is when you feel that you can actually be completely nude and be so comfortable in that space. In the sense like full, completely nude, and be comfortable because you're performing. People around you respect your body more than you can even imagine. And I was so touched by that, and it was actually dealt with a lot of neutrality. It dealt with like, okay, there's a nude scene the way there is a scene with clothes. So I think after Badlapur, I mean, a lot of people told me that when you actually strip, we didn't even look at your body because we were still in the scene. And
exactly, because it is the scene itself is very revolting.
I do have complexes about my body otherwise, but when you're performing, I think I have learned at least a little bit from all these people that I've worked with to be very comfortable with my body, and I think that's the best liberation I think one could ever experience.
You're also doing a 20-minute short film to be directed by Anurag Kashyap, co-starring Satyadeep Mishra.
Yes.
The theme is Forbidden Love.
Yes.
And it is the film investigates the reasons behind an illicit affair and makes you question some of the difficult decisions in life. So could you tell us something more about it? Naam to aap batayenge nahi. Is one of the nude scene in this movie?
I'll not tell you anything.
Okay.
But okay, very honestly, this is also
Your
one
hair
of
are
the-
red in this movie.
Yeah.
For some reason.
For a while my hair was like bright red.
Right.
So amazing. I was absolutely thrilled. I was like, I'll do it.
Okay.
Another excuse to make your hair red. Yeah, I think this is an MTV International who they're making a film, and they have 6 directors. So one of which is Anurag's, but they're very strict on their the whole confidentiality thing.
No, we can put 2 and 2 together. All right, so now you're also playing Nawazuddin's wife in Manji, the Mountain Man.
Yes.
Ketan Mehta's film. A lot of people are just waiting for this movie, like
Yes.
with bated breath, I believe. Something about this experience, because we've seen about this story in Satyamev Jayate,
Yes.
and I believe you are a huge Aamir Khan fan.
Oh, okay. That's
We'll come one at a time.
Yeah, the
one at a time. Okay. One at a time.
So, Manji, I think it's an incredibly inspiring story. Incredibly inspiring.
Right.
And another person who's extremely inspiring is Ketan Mehta.
Right.
I mean, I must tell you, the day I went to meet him, he was sitting on the table and he invited me to come inside, and I went, and this broad smile on his face, I was so mesmerized. I just sat there and I was like, whatever you say, I just want to do this film because you're so lovely. Because so inspiring, and he spoke of the film and the story, and I had no idea about that at that time.
Right.
And then when we actually went and we shot at the location, I cannot tell you, that was amazing. That place is just beautiful. And you actually see the mountain, you actually see the road that they've built there, and you go there and you feel this is unbelievable. Like, how can you do that for 22 years? With just a hammer and a chisel for somebody that you loved. It's something that you can't quite, comprehend. It's amazing. I think it's so inspirational. And Nawaz is outstanding in the film.
Must be. He is a phenomenal
Outstanding.
actor.
Yeah.
He's
just,
phenomenal. And so you're going to age in the movie as well.
No, not really.
Not really. Okay, and you've also said that I grew up idolizing Aamir Khan. I had a poster of his in my room. Every day I said bye to it before going to school. I want to create a similar sense of self-worth in my career.
That's additional. That's somebody's added that. I did
So you've not said that?
No. We were talking about who did I look up to?
Right.
And who do I look up to now? So I was saying that I don't really look up to anybody right now. In the sense, I have performances that I look up to. Or some people do something in their lives and that's very mesmerizing, and then you go like, oh my god, that's inspirational.
Right.
But I said that when I was really small, I was in school, at that time Aamir Khan was this person that I was obsessed with, and then when I became a teenager, then it became Shah Rukh Khan, and then when Border came, it was Akshay Khanna. So basically it was that, and then Juhi Chawla and Madhuri Dixit and all that. So I was really obsessed with these people, and I did have Aamir Khan's poster in my house when I was 10 years old, and I used to be like, bye, every day I used to go to school. So come on, everybody does that. But then when I went to college, I was just telling her about the journey of how you idolize different people.
Absolutely.
And so these were the people when in school I used to idealize, and then when I went to college, it was like, oh my god, Naseeruddin Shah and Om Puri and Shabana Azmi and that lot. I was like, oh my god, I was completely obsessed. And okay, this is true, that the only person I'm starstruck with is, I think, Naseeruddin Shah. Even today when I go to Prithvi, and when he comes, I literally go like, which direction to go to, because I go like a bit like that. And he's the only person that doesn't happen with anybody else. But so the focus changed, and then it sort of dropped again, and then I did only theatre, and I got really obsessed with theatre and performing arts. And now I watch so much cinema that there's no one person that I feel I idolize or I sort of look up to, but there are lots of people, there are lots of performances, there are lots of directors and writers and blah blah blah.
Radhika Apte, she's had a very interesting set of people who have affected her in various ways. Like for example, she has learned from Rambupal Verma that never to say good morning. She says that he hates small talk and he hates when people are formal. So he asked people on the sets of Rakta Charitra to refrain from saying good morning to each other. He always said, your formality won't make my morning good.
Absolutely, that's so true. Yeah, I used to like, hi, good morning. So, oh God, he used to like, don't say good morning. I used to just...
He doesn't like it when he wishes for him happy birthday.
I think I quite enjoyed that after a point, because he really refrains from small talk. And I'm not very good at small talk. I mean, I do that as a formality, but I go like, then now what else? What else to say? Sort of a thing. So I quite like that fact that he's so blatant about it. I mean, at his position, probably he can be, or he doesn't care. But I quite get fascinated with people.
He's the only one who can do it.
Exactly, the only one.
He's the only one who can do it.
That's true.
What is your zodiac sign?
Oh, I think I'm a Virgo.
7 September. Yeah, so you're Virgo.
Yeah, I'm Virgo.
Something about Leena Yadav's Parched.
It's about a story of 3 women in a village, and it's sort of about their sex lives in a village. It's a very funny film, actually, you know, because we observe that in a village when women are not educated and all they do is ghar ka kaam and taking care of the family. The topic that comes most often is sex. They talk about sex.
A lot of sex in your movies, actually.
Yeah, there's a lot of sex in everyday life.
Yeah, that is true. I'm saying in your filmography somewhere. It's just
Tell me one movie that doesn't have anything to do with sex.
a lot of them.
Tell me.
A lot of them, actually.
Tell me.
Seriously, the left, right, and center. There's so many films.
Where there's
which,
love, there's sex. Yeah.
They hide it, na?
Oh, that they hide it. That's because they are very
How do we understand that it must be there?
But
Yours is like quite pronounced somewhere.
Yeah, because we just
no
don't
one is
hide.
complaining actually. We're not judging
It's good
either.
to not hide, isn't it? It's like
Right.
it's like having double standards then.
Right.
So anyway, so
That's the best hatyar of women actually. That is double standard. That's just a statement. I'm just.
so this is not gonna be like.
Right.
No, but so it's about that actually, and she's so wonderful. You know, she's the second woman I've worked with as a woman director. The first one was the first film that I ever did. Ghoma Lasla was a Konkani Marathi film with Sumitra Bhave and Sunil Suktankar. So I think I really enjoy working with women when they're directors because it's just a different approach. I think I'm not saying what is better or worse, but it's so good because you always get to work with men. And very rarely you get to work with women. So I think there is a difference, and it's quite. I find it very stimulating. It's really nice.
Absolutely. Talking about your Marathi cinema,
Yes.
when I think Radhika recently just entered our office, and a lot of people were just talking to her about Le Bhari and the sort of response that she's got from that. So how do you react to your Marathi fans, because we live in Mumbai and it's a strong presence out here as far as Marathi film is concerned.
I don't know how I react to anybody, but it's really overwhelming actually.
When you've done a Hunter and a Badlapur and people are talking about Le Bhari, then it becomes like a different context and unexpected as well.
Unexpected as well, like right just now.
Absolutely.
Because when I went and like Le Bhari, I was like, oh wow, that's quite refreshing, and actually it's really nice when people remember you because of something else than what is happening. Like
what you're expecting.
Exactly, like some people when I was promoting Hunter actually in the Marathi. For the Marathi audience also, we were doing some promotions, and people said that, oh, I have seen your Ghoma Lasla, the same film that I was talking about. It's one of my favorite films. And literally I go like, okay, tell me more about that because I really want to know, because it's so nice to know that. So I think, yeah, it's great that people still, of course they remember, it was a blockbuster hit. I was such a big hit in Marathi.
Right.
So it's great. I'm actually waiting after that for something really interesting to come my way, because I don't want to sign something that is not very interesting, I think. So I'm waiting.
You're also doing this movie called Kaun, Kitne, Pani mein.
Yes, it's finished.
What exactly is that?
Kaun Kitne Pani mein Pani mein is with Madhav Panda, who did Aam Kalam, and it's with Kunal Kapoor.
Right.
And it has Kunal Kapoor, Saurabh Shukla and Gulshan Grover. It's a satire actually on a water problem set in Orissa.
Okay.
So it's actually quite funny. We finished shooting.
Too many films coming up this year.
Yeah, I hope they release this year.
But I think quite a few of
Yeah,
them.
they are actually, because all of them, like
Mountain
Manji
Man is for sure.
Yes, in August. Kaun Kitne Pani mein also might release this year, and Parched also.
Parched
is
as
ready.
well. You also spoken about the entire time gap that it took for you from Shor In The City till Badlapur. Shor In The City, everyone loved your performance, and people just took up and just noticed that, who's this girl?
Yeah.
And she's playing like a very, it's very captivating performance somewhere which was there. Now, how do you look back at Shor In The City?
You know, very honestly, I did Shor In The City for some really random reason. I was so not focused at that time, and I was like, okay, I want to do this, and it will be good to do a film, because at that time I was doing theatre completely, and I was doing films just because it would give me a little bit of money to survive. And then later I was like, oh my god, no, I love this, and I want to do this, more of this. But I think the credit of Shor In The City, of whatever I've sort of I've got a really good response for that. I think I gave it to Raj and DK. I am not just being this thing, but they were so lovely, because I remember on the sets, they were the first people who really taught me how it basically magnifies on a camera, so what you do and what you don't do, and they really sort of taught me how to just bring it down, everything, and be really subtle about how you performing. And I had a really great time working with them. And I also like their sense of humor. I like their subtleties with which, I like their situations that they create for actors to be in. And I think it was really, really good to work with them. I couldn't cash in on the success of Saibo and Shor In The City because I was away in London. And but I don't have any regrets, because I had a best year in London. It sort of widened my horizon in a way.
What are you doing in London? The international film?
I was learning, I was learning contemporary dance.
Contemporary dance?
At Trinity Laban.
So have you seen your dance in any of the movies so far?
No, I was like telling people I should do a dance film.
Right.
I know.
ABCD 3. ABCD 3. I'm sure that there must have been reviews. I'm not too exactly, I can't pinpoint on that, so maybe I'm not just quoting any of them. But I think faintly I've read somewhere that a lot of people have spoken about the fact that how any good actor, the way they can communicate with their eyes is something which is the hallmark of any good actor, be it Ajay Devgan, be it a lot of Shabana Azmi. The way they communicate through their eyes, merely their eyes, is something which is fantastic. I think it's being said about Radhika Apte as well. The way you've been communicating,
right.
The way your eyes can do the talking.
Okay.
Do you think that something of this sort comes through because of theatre, and or it's more of like introspection, or?
No, I don't think while performing one thinks of these things really. I think. Okay, this might sound really stupid, but sometimes when I'm watching performance, like 2 days back I was watching this amazing film and this 80-year-old woman performing. I was completely mesmerized. I realized that of course her eyes are there throughout, but her face, this part of her face, sort of lights up when she sort of said anything or did anything. So I think people have different faces, and sort of different parts sort of light up, or they sort of bring out the energy more. So might be I have really big eyes, so it might be that. I don't think it's just theatre. I don't think it's that. I think it's just
instinct.
Yeah, I think
natural.
So. I think it's just natural.
It's just natural. Bilkul, modest hoना चाहिए एकदम. Finally, I think you've already spoken about inspiration as far as your acting is concerned. I think you've taken the name of Aamir and then Nasiruddin Shah primarily. Any other actors who have inspired you, actresses who have inspired you, and which are your favorite movies of all times? I'm
very bad with favorites because I don't have favorites.
The ones that have inspired you?
Yeah, I'll just tell you films that I've recently seen probably that I've really liked. Or the all-time favorite in Bollywood?
Wherever. It doesn't matter that.
But in Bollywood at least it's like Andaz Apna Apna. Like that's my all-time favorite film.
You'd like to do like a proper hardcore comedy?
I'd love to. It's a comedy, yeah, but I'd really love to. I'd absolutely love to. And yeah, so anyway, Andaz Apna Apna is my all-time favorite film. Here, I don't know. I mean, Hollywood, I think there are just many films that I don't know. I can't like pinpoint one. But favorite films, I don't know. I mean, recently what I saw, I really loved this film called Harold and Maude that I saw of Hal Ashby. It's an old film actually. But then more recent, I loved Inside Llewyn Davis. I'm a big fan of Coen Brothers. I'm a big fan of Kubrick, and I absolutely love that film. And I also loved Foxcatcher out of the Oscar whatever.
The best part is they can use as many expletives as possible, and they looked at it in the context of the way they are being said, and not just
exactly
blatantly.
Yeah. So I think
many expletives are there, but they are all in context.
Man,
all in context.
Yeah, totally.
That's another debate altogether.
Yeah.
Just baat aapke kul kya
Yeah.
Okay.
But I think actresses. I think I really love Juliette Binoche. She's somebody that I've always sort of really cherished her performances, whatever I've seen. And I love Kate Blanchett. I'm like a massive fan of Kate Blanchett.
Radhika, one last question. It's just in a lighter way.
Whatever way.
Okay. Did you when you were watching Hunter in the final copy of Hunter? Yeah. Honestly.
Oh God, what are you gonna ask?
No, I'm not asking you anything fishy. Just honestly, if you have to tell me.
Yeah.
At any point of time, did you feel like some sort of pangs of jealousy when you saw Sai Tamhankar?
Ah.
Let's be honest
God.
about it.
Very honestly,
Please.
I've always seen the film with her next to me.
Achha.
So I've always been like, that's Sai, yeah, you're so hot.
Okay.
And very honestly, I don't have that sex appeal that Sai has.
Right.
Like being very honest. When she comes on that terrace, the first scene, when she comes on the terrace,
Right.
when Mandar, you know, you, like even I go like with like, oh
Yeah,
my God, like,
that's true. Right, that's true.
you are hot.
No, absolutely.
And I don't think I have that sex appeal, very honestly. So I don't think I could have pulled off that part the way she did it ever. If I was offered that part, it would have been very different. But the sex appeal that she has, like hot, I don't think I have that at all.
So there was more of envy than jealousy, you're trying to say.
I think it was more of
Admiration.
admiration.
Right.
And I'm not just saying this because I'm on camera. But genuinely, very honestly, I feel jealous of lots of people. Let me tell you that. I'm like, as any other actor, very insecure and jealous about many people. When it comes to friends, I've never felt any jealousy in my life.
Okay.
That's genuinely something that I feel like. So because I'm friends with so many of my really good friends right now doing so good in here or abroad or wherever. And I've never felt jealous about that. I just feel jealous about people who are not my friends.
You feel jealous about the ones who are not your friends. Okay. But you sympathize with men who are swooning over Sai Tamhankar.
Totally, I do that too.
That is true. That is true. Alright, so Radhika Apte, huge pleasure to have you on Bollywood Hungama. Lovely
Thanks so
talking to
much.
you, and we've been just absorbing your performances this year, and they've been really phenomenal. And looking forward to all your future ventures and all the names that we have taken today and all the names that you have not told us today. So looking forward to that, and we hope that I'm sure that more interesting sort of work must be coming your way since Badlapur and Hunter have come about. So we hope that you get the best of choices and maybe like ABCD3 with like dance stuff that she wants to do.
Absolutely.
All right, and you've told about your crush to Aamir Khan.
I don't have a crush on Aamir Khan.
When you had a 10-year-old, when you were a 10-year-old.
No, I've never met Aamir Khan.
You've not met Aamir Khan. So I hopefully you'll meet Aamir Khan.
Yeah. Well, like that I have to go to Akshay Khanna also.
Akshay Khanna as well. So there's a long list actually.
Too many crushes, then I should go to like, oh, that way there's a long list.
There's a long list. All right. So I hope कि जो भी आप चाहें वो आपको मिले. Thank you very much for being in Bollywood Hungama and all the best.
My pleasure.
Thanks
Thank
a lot.
you.
That's all we have from Bollywood Hungama. Keep on watching.